Okay, welcome everyone to Session 3, Workshop 9, in which we will witness the unveiling of the EdCollab's new Global Kind project, presented by the founding director, Chris Lehman, and his team of social media advocate interns. We have Amy Riley, a second grade teacher from New Hampshire, Brittany Howell, a technology resource teacher and student technology coach from Kentucky, and Jancey Clark, an elementary school learning coach at the American International School in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. We are all in for an inspirational session where we'll all be encouraged to see ourselves and each other through literacy. Don't forget to include the following hashtag on Twitter to join in on the conversation. Hashtag the EdCollab Gathering, space, hashtag 9.
Thank you, Diana. We are so excited. This has been about a year in the making here, close to it. It's been several months together. So what I'd like to do at the start here is just give you a little bit of background on what the Social Media Advocates, what this is, a little bit about our project, but then we'll jump right into sharing a global event that you and your students, your classroom, your colleagues at your school, your colleagues across schools can be a part of starting in May. So it's the Global Kind project, and our goal here is to encourage seeing ourselves and each other through literacy. So the purpose of our project is to encourage others to use kindness, empathy, and gratitude to shrink the space between us. And this project was created by what we're calling our social media advocates. So the social media advocate, you see we gave pausing as our cue for slides. So social media advocates, we started at the EdCollab this year, this group called Social Media Advocates. And our goal is to use social media, not just for retweeting news links and having Twitter chats and finding ways of either pushing information out or to grab people together to look at things, but to really think, how can we use social media for the social good? So this group here, there's 3 of us that were able to attend today, and there's one more, Angie Corrington from California, that was unable to join us today, but she's been a part of this project as well too. We've worked together across the course of several months to study what folks are doing on social media, to brainstorm and look for ways that we can support social good through social media and ways of connecting educators to do that sort of work. And we've studied a number of other initiatives in order to bring and put this together. So this really is our unveiling. So I will pass it off to our friend and colleague and other advocate, Amy Riley, to tell you some more about what the project is. Hi, Amy.
Hello. So one of the biggest inspirations that we had for this project was participating in Global Read Aloud. And I teach 2nd grade in New Hampshire. And through Global Read Aloud, my classroom was able to connect with 2nd graders in Canada and 2nd graders in Texas and all across the country and all across the world. And even if we weren't directly connecting with classrooms, we were able to connect with even more classrooms through Twitter chats and connecting on Facebook. So when I joined the Ed Collaborative group, I was able to connect with Jancey and Brittany and Angie as well, and we all had such a great experience with Global Read Aloud. So we wanted to bring that together with a new project around kindness and empathy, where classrooms could connect through social media and learn through literacy these different concepts. So for our project, it has the same setup as Global Read Aloud, where teachers will be able to connect with other classrooms through Twitter and Facebook using the hashtag GKP17 for Global Kind Project. And we'll also be focusing each week on a different concept. So week 1, and our focus is looking at kindness in words, and it follows this acronym of KIND, as you can see. For week 2, it looks at inspiring good with gratitude. So we ask teachers and students to really think about what it means to be grateful for things and how do you show gratitude towards others without just saying that you're thankful. For week 3, we talk about nurturing empathy in others. So how do we teach others to be empathetic? What does empathy look like? And how can we learn about that through different books? And then our final week is looking at week 4. So defining kindness with action and defining empathy through action. So we're going to be encouraging all of our participants to take part in a social action project, and they can participate in community service and any sort of project that they feel is necessary. So we do have a website that we're going to be using throughout this process for teachers to look at for resources, and it's globalkindproject.com. I believe that's the next, yeah. Oh, sorry. So for globalkindproject.com, we'll be looking there for different resources. And on the website, you'll see resources for each of those weeks that we have, and all of the different books that go with those weeks, the videos and articles that go with those weeks, as well as any of the other resources that we have.
So now we wanted to dive right in and show you how this project will go. And just so you know, we're doing this 45 minutes kind of a quick overview now to help you get to know how this works. We'll show you where you can register and other information about this. But then we will also be holding a Twitter chat on April 20th. From 7 to 8 p.m. and we'll send out information. Be sure to join our mailing list or follow the Ed Collab on Twitter so that we can connect and find some more information there as well. So I'm going to pop over to, oh, thank you, Brittany has us on the website, thanks. So when you go to globalkindproject.com, it'll take you directly to our website, and here you will find everything you need. So from the top there, you can see, you can click on how it works or to register. There's a pacing guide. So we'll walk you through some of this. So if you scroll down on the page, you'll see information about the project and how it works. We have 4 main points there. We each week will first invite you to study together with you and your classroom, you and your students. And you can, it's run as 4 weeks, but we're having the window of time from May 1st through, it's like June 9th, I think it is. We have more than 4 weeks of it being open, so you can work around any testing schedules or events, other things that are happening. And it is very much go at your own pace. So if you only have 1 day during the week to do something, spend the 1 day on it. If you have a full week because you're between units to use all the resources from that week, go ahead. It really is for you to use at your own pace. But here are the four main goals: that you will study together. So you'll use some resources, which we'll show you in a second, in order to take up one of the weekly topics. You'll reflect and wonder together with you and your students using activities, exploration questions, or other sources, which we'll demonstrate in just a moment. And then, this is where it gets really great, you'll have opportunities to connect with other classrooms. During our Twitter chat is a time that you can connect. We also will have a Facebook group for you, and we can support you in other ways of connecting. When you register, we'll send out more of that information. It then will be up to you to decide how much you want to connect and grow, and Amy will talk a bit more about that a bit later. And then lastly, step 4, after connecting with another classroom to celebrate what you've learned from that week or the work that you're doing, it's also a time that your class can then reflect and grow. And our goal and our belief around this is that kindness, empathy, care, action happens in proximity. When there's a vacuum, when we're not around each other, when we're not talking to one another, that's where anxiety and fear and confusion can grow. But when we're in proximity to others and in conversation with them, that's where we are able to reflect on our own values and our own work and see that in others as well, too. So if you wouldn't mind scrolling down on the page a bit. On this page is where you'll be able to register. There's the button right there, which will then send you more information. And then if you go way, way down, there is a big, giant button there that says Guide. And so from the main page, this takes you to your own guide for how you can pace yourself through the Global Kind project. So I'm just going to briefly talk us through week 1, and then we'll share kind of more or less some thinking about each week, and as well as some tips for work that you can do as well, too. So inside of week 1, if you wouldn't mind either putting the slide up or going back to that website for just a minute. So inside of week 1, there are 3 main areas. There are exploration questions, challenges, and curated resources. So the exploration questions are ones like these that are on the screen here. So during week 1, during kindness week, you can decide with you and your class which questions you'd like to use. So questions could be, what is kindness? And just like simply trying to navigate that. What does it mean to be kind? What is kindness? Or, and, how do you know when a person is in need of kindness? And, or, and this third one is especially great for older students. Can kindness ever be hurtful or not go the way you intended it to? So you have any one of those questions to choose from, and those can guide the work of your week. Then another area are our resources and our challenges, which I think I have a slide for. There we go, perfect. So the next category is challenges. This is just an example of a challenge that you could give to your students, or you can invent your own that invites them to enact in some way or to research in some way topics from that week. So for this example, for week 1, we're suggesting to create a kindness log. It could be personal or in your whole class, where as students witness kind things or do kind things for others, to invite them to record those, keep them together, and you can evaluate and look for those. And we'll, in just a few minutes, talk about some other examples of how that could work too. And then lastly, and we totally love this, is curated resources. Here we have a number of books, videos, websites. On each week, the ones on the top are general suggestions that would be great for any classroom. We feel picture books are great, K through 12. Then there's some that are for more older students, and we chose them for older students because perhaps there's a theme that's a bit more mature, or there's topics that maybe are just kind of complicated for younger readers and viewers. Then we also have, you can't click it on the slide, but there's for each week more resources. So if you're someone that's like, you totally are taking up that week and you want more ways to work, we have lesson plans that we've curated. We have additional readings, additional videos that you can choose from. How every week works is you can choose, make your own adventure of which one of these things do you want to use with your students. And then from there, you can connect by the end of the week with another classroom or multiple other classrooms to share your learning and share your experience with each other. So that's week 1. We're now going to rapid fire through the other weeks so you get a sense of them, and then we'll share some ways that you can get involved and some of our own experiences piloting some of this in our classrooms too. So I turn it over.
Thank you, Chris. I'm going to talk a little bit about week 2. And so week 2 is all about inspiring good through gratitude. And it's a similar format that Chris was just talking about for kindness. Each week we'll have the same format that you can follow. And I'm going to first talk about 2 picture books that we suggest that, as we heard earlier today, picture books are so great for kids of all ages. So I read The Giving Tree with kindergarten, but this is a book that could inspire such a great discussion with children of all ages. So the 2 picture books are The Giving Tree, and then Wonder could be something for older students. And then we also have a video that we recommend to go along with gratitude. And it's a Kid President video on the next slide. And I think it's Kid President's Reasons to be Thankful. And he goes through many different things, and it's just a great way to spark a discussion for kids and getting them to reflect on all the many things that they do have to be thankful for. And then what I think is really the most meaningful part of this inspiring good with gratitude are the discussion questions that will come about as you go through the picture books and the video. And the discussion questions that we have for this week is, how do we know when someone feels grateful? How do you show that you are grateful? And when is it hard to show gratitude? So I really like that these questions are getting students to have them think a little bit more deeply and go beyond just a list of things that they are thankful for, but really have them to think about how they show their gratitude and how sometimes it might be difficult to show, and think about why. And again, just like with the kindness, we have a challenge for gratitude, and we encourage students to write a letter or to write poetry, create a video, whatever form of expression they want to use to show that they are thankful for someone or something. It could be anything in their life that they really just want to express their gratitude. And we also have an option that it would be great to create a board of gratitude somewhere in your classroom or in your school so that you can really showcase all of the work that students are doing. And then that could be a great way to connect with other classrooms and to share your gratitude board with each other. And so then I think the next week is going to be empathy.
So I'll talk to you a bit about nurturing empathy, our theme of week 3. So thank you, Jancey. The books that we have for that week are Those Shoes by Mary Beth Bolitz, and we also have Two Naomis. And we also have a couple of other books that are listed on theglobalkindproject.com that you could use as resources for that week. And we felt that we would talk about empathy after we addressed what kindness looked like, because empathy we felt was deeper than just looking at being kind to someone. Empathy is understanding where someone's coming from and how they're feeling. It's not putting a silver lining on somebody's problem. It's really just taking the time to understand how they're feeling and understanding the problems that they might be going through, or even the joy that they might be feeling, and really putting yourself in that person's shoes. So the questions that we have to focus on for week 3 with nurturing empathy is looking at what is empathy and why is it important? What can help you move from assuming you understand someone to really understanding them better? And what makes it hard to do this? So really encouraging students K through 12 to take a look at themselves and think about when is a time when I've been empathetic towards others, or when is a time that I could be more empathetic towards someone else. And when do you assume that you understand something, and when do you really need to take some time to look at how you're feeling? So one of the activities that we have posted on theglobalkindproject.com would be to look at the Mix It Up lunch, which is brought to us by Teaching Tolerance. And on Teaching Tolerance, they have lots of different resources for looking at what you could do to mix it up at lunch and sit with somebody new and really get to know somebody that you would normally sit with at lunch. And this is a really great activity for any student K through 12 to look at. In Teaching Tolerance on their website, they have a great list of resources for bands of grade levels. So they have resources for pre-K to kindergarten, grades 1 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, and 9 to 12. And some of these activities involve even just playing a game with somebody, or having different problems that are having students that have the same word, or maybe even a word problem on a card at lunch, and you have to find a student with that same word or the same word problem, and you sit together to solve the problem or talk about the word. And it's just a great way to mix students together and help them to really understand somebody that they might not normally take the time to truly understand. So I think now we'll move into week 4, which is defining action and how we define action. Oh, Brittany, your microphone is still muted.
There we go. Thank you. As we were talking about the project, we wanted to make sure that we, talked about kindness and empathy. And not only did we look at it in picture books and in real life examples and talk about how we can spread it, but we also wanted to give everyone the opportunity to then take action, because that's really our end goal, is how can we make our communities even better than they already are by spreading kindness and empathy, both hands-on and digitally in the digital world these days. So week 4's theme is how do we take action? So looking at the next slide, how to take action, I threw a couple pictures, or one picture up there and a link of an example that you might do. It's really service projects is kind of the focus that we kept. We liked that idea because you could do something small just with your class do something in your classroom, make cards for somebody in your school, make card for a family who might be in the military and send a box over. It could be even bigger than that, where you connect with other classes and you collaborate and you come up with an even larger project, where the example that I did was hashtag lunch bag, and everybody could make their own lunch bag for homeless in their communities, and then you could Skype or Google Hangout together and collaborate around that project. Or you could do something even bigger than that and have, you know, a service learning project in your community or multiple communities if you're collaborating with other students both in the US and globally. You know, I think one thing that we saw was kindness really can be just at the smallest gesture, and it looks the same everywhere. A smile is a smile, and it's contagious. So on our webpage, we included several examples of service learning projects that you can click on. You can't click on here on the slides, but if you go to our webpage, you can click on them for more information. Some of them are very specific on how you could implement that specific thing. You could use it that way. You might use it just as an idea starter and then tweak it, you know, to be your own, or collaborating with other teachers that you've been working with and coming up with your own project. Or maybe you show this example to your students and they come up with a new project. But that was kind of the culminating event per se for the end of the project. We also, going along with the other weeks, included picture books that you can use, novels for older grades, some more videos and websites, and lots of different resources and lesson ideas that you can find on our website for you as well. I chose hashtag lunch bag because I've actually had experience with a service learning project, I believe in California, that did hashtag lunch bag. This picture is not from them. It's from actually the Twitter account, the hashtag lunch bag. If you want ideas, you could go to that. And then I also included a video from the National Center for Families Learning that's online of an example of a family learning organization doing this project as their service learning project. And they're great ways to get the whole class involved, maybe even get families involved for that homeschool connection, which is always really important. So you might be thinking, we keep talking about, you know, making connections and how are we going to get in touch with other people. And we had a lot of discussion about that. And going back to what Amy said about, we really liked Loud, and it was in our conversation a lot at the beginning. It's going to be very similar to where you'll reach out to other people by using our hashtag, which will be for this year, hashtag GKP17 on social media. You can reach out to other educators that way. You'll be able to be in touch with us through social media and other educators also during our kickoff Twitter chat through the EdCollab Twitter chat hashtag. We'll be kicking off our project there and just posing some questions about different weeks and sharing ideas of things that we've tried and ideas that you might have, because our main goal is to just keep learning together and collaborating and, you know, making the project even better as we learn together. We'll also have a Facebook group that you can join, so you'll be able to leave questions and comments there as well to connect with other educators. It was just pointed out that I apologize, it's not hashtag EdCollab, it's hashtag the EdCollab, so that's incorrect on the slides. So you might just make that note. It's the usual, the Educator Collab Twitter chat that we'll be using, so hashtag the EdCollab. Thanks, Chris, for pointing that out.
No problem. So,
I was just going to say,
ahead.
I also just shared the Global Kind Project Facebook group to the EdCollab Facebook page. So if you type in the Educator Collaborative into Facebook, you'll find the Educator Collaborative Facebook page. And we just posted the Global Kind Project group that you can join to connect with teachers and share resources throughout the project.
And
Great,
so,
thank you.
So before we move over to sharing some of our own experience, we just wanted to say that first of all, Pernille Ripp, who's the creator of the Global Read Aloud, is a member of the Educator Collaborative, and so kindly supported us as we began to work on this. As we're getting near the tail end, and thought, we realized in our conversations, we kept saying, well, there's that awesome, the Global Read Aloud, the Global Read Aloud. We kept coming back to that. So Pernille actually joined us for some planning sessions. So shout out to Pernille Ripp wherever you are. So that's why you see some relation to that. And one thing that Pernille said that we very much believe in is that, that it's really about you taking the opportunity to connect with others, but deciding what's right for you and your students and your community and your time. So what we'd like to do, am I doing it right? We're moving to sharing our experiences. Jancey nods, okay, great. So what we'd like to do is to do what you will do during this project of just share some of what we've done. So we've been piloting some of the work here in the project just ahead of time to tweak things and figure stuff out. So what you can imagine yourself doing if you haven't done the Global Read Aloud before or something like this is you'll, before the project begins, decide which weeks or which days of the week you'd like to engage in this with your students. To choose a text or an activity or several texts or several questions. It's really for you to decide. And then to connect with another teacher or a group of teachers to plan a time that you can then share and celebrate towards the end of that week. And either you can share just with each other over email, or you could have a hangout like this, or you could talk over Twitter. So it's just adults sharing information with each other that their kids have learned. Or you could even set up a time of actually Skyping from classroom to classroom, or having a Google Hangout, or writing blogs together. So what we're going to do for you now is to share some of the, and I have to tell you, I've already previewed this because we had this conversation as we were planning, to just share some of the brilliant things that these educators are already trying with their students, so you can feel what it feels like and what this project will feel like for you. I'm ready to
Can I
rock
add
here.
something really fast?
Sure, yes.
I think what is so great is, if you've done it, the Global Read Aloud before, you might already have some ideas for things you could do for this, but maybe you're starting anew and you've not done the Global Read Aloud, and that's okay too, because what I thought was so cool was we each all piloted week 1 and it looked different in all of our classrooms. Some of the classrooms did participate in the Global Read Aloud and some didn't. So it really is for everyone, and there's no right or wrong answer in doing it. It's completely yours, and we just supplied the resources to help support you. But it's totally yours to make it your own. I think that's the coolest part.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Brittany. So I teach in New Hampshire, and when we have been trying out some of the different ideas for this project and just really focusing on our pilot of week 1 of just kindness in words, my students participated in Mission Possible. And we played some really great theme music while I introduced the project. And we pretended to be secret agents for the entire week. And my students' mission was to perform 7 random acts of kindness. So over the course of this school week, we spread it out over 7 school days. So it went about a week and a half into school. And every day my students had to perform 1 random act of kindness. And we talked a lot about how when you do something kind for someone, you don't do it for the recognition, you do it to bring joy to that person's life. And there was a whole list of different ideas that they could do. And this list contained different ideas, from doing something at home for your brother or sister, or doing something kind for your mom or your dad. They really just made it their own, and leaving little notes for each other on their desks in the morning, just talking about what a great friend someone was. And they wrote poems about each other because we're doing poetry as part of our writing unit. And everything was kept a secret because we wanted to make sure that we were performing these acts of kindness for other people. And it wasn't just about doing it for ourselves, but that information can be found on, I found the idea for the project on the classroom blog, Miss Flint's class, and you can download it there. It's a free PDF, so you don't have to pay for it or anything, and it's already created for you. But some of the things that my students had done was clean their parents' car for them. They asked somebody to play outside at recess they don't normally play with. And they just did a really nice job of being really kind to each other. And even though our mission has been complete and it was successful, I just see the repercussions of that throughout the day in our school, and kids continuing to perform those random acts of kindness, even though it's not technically part of their mission anymore as students in my classroom. And some of the ideas that we've already participated in for social action include Project Linus. We had done that back in December, and that would be a great project for others to participate in. And we've done food drives in the past, and we're really excited about some of the other social action projects we've found as well.
Great. Thank you, Amy. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience that I had piloting this. And this whole process has been amazing, and I've loved being a part of planning this. But then when I got to actually take it into a few classrooms, then it just really took it to a whole nother level. And I'm a learning coach, so I don't have my own classroom, but I was very fortunate to find 2 teachers who let me come into their classrooms last week. It was right before spring break, and they were really excited to give this a try. So I went into a 3rd grade classroom, and we did the week about kindness, and we watched the video that's on the website, and it's called Take a Seat and Make a Friend. And so the video shows strangers that sit next to each other, and through just starting a conversation, they realize how much that they have in common. And so the class tried this. These students who have been in the same class with each other for an entire year, but then after sitting with each other and really listening to each other and asking questions, they were able to learn things that they didn't know. And it was just so great to go around the room and seeing them just having these conversations. And they also started a kindness log, and they started recording some acts of kindness that they hope to do. And they were hoping to do over spring break. So I can't wait to get back to school next week and hopefully see some of the students bring in these kindness logs and see some of the acts of kindness that they did. And then I also went into a kindergarten classroom, and I did the Inspire Good with Gratitude. And it was just so touching to see the letters that these students created. As part of the challenge, they reflected on people who they are thankful for. And in the picture, there's a letter. It says, "Thank you for always supporting me." And they were writing letters to each other, to their classmates, to their teachers, to their parents. And it was just really great. And we started off the lesson by reading The Giving Tree and just really having a great discussion about what it means to be thankful. And what I really liked after piloting this is I could see that teachers can really spend as much time as they have on this, or it can be possible to do it just within one class period. It was very meaningful, and we got a lot done, but you could certainly extend it, and do more with it each day. And I'm really looking forward to adding the global connection piece and being able to reach out and connect to other classrooms. Okay.
Oh, Brittany, you're muted. Brittany, we can't hear you. No problem. There we go. No problem.
So as I was saying, I also piloted it with 2nd grade. I'm at St. Patrick Catholic School, and like Jancey, don't have my own classroom, but I work a lot with 2nd grade. And so I went ahead and piloted week 1 with them. And we started out just by, you'll see some of the charts we made, and we started the conversation of just what is kindness and what is digital kindness. And they did an awesome job with kindness. And then we discussed digital kindness, and I thought they would really get it at first because of the digital age and everything, but they really needed a little bit more of explanation of what I meant by digital kindness. And then they started to catch on and said things, be kind in text messages, be kind in emails and in comments and things like that. And then that led to, well, what does that mean? And they would say, well, don't be mean or don't do this. And I would say, well, if you're not doing that, then what are you doing? So we were trying to come up with more concrete type of examples. And that led us into reading one of my favorite picture books, The Last Stop on Market Street. And as we were reading, they jotted down on Post-it notes, you'll see there, examples throughout the story that they saw of CJ or other characters spreading kindness. And that was just a great book because it showed kindness in very small ways. He smiled at the strangers when he got on the bus, for example, to larger ways. He gave up his seat for a stranger. He played music for somebody, etc. Larger ways that you can show kindness. So it showed great examples of both. And I was amazed at their responses. There was very little repeat in their answers. So they were really looking for those unique ways to spread kindness. So we did that in one, it was kind of a mini lesson that we did for those two things. And then we started our 2M's kindness board. And I left them with this and some Post-it notes. And I asked them to start to think about, you know, where did they seek kindness? And to then come back when they would find it, write it on a Post-it note and put it on the chart. I took this picture after just the first afternoon, and since then it's totally grown. And we were on spring break this past week, and I had one little boy say, well, can we continue to do this over spring break? Can I come back with some Post-it notes? And I was thrilled. I said, absolutely, that would be wonderful. Or even just in your mind, be thinking about looking for, you know, paying close attention for these little acts of kindness that people are doing for you or that you see in your community, and come back and write them on Post-it notes when you get back. So I'm so excited to talk to them on Monday and see they have everything from help me find my book to gave up a seat at lunch for me, all sorts of different things. I was really amazed. So they did a great job. Just a little bit of, I was just making sure we were on the same slide that we were talking about. Just a reminder, the Global Kind Project, we have it launching May 1st through June 9th, but remember that those dates are flexible. I know, for example, when we did Global Read Aloud, I was not on track, but I still followed pretty much the same format, and it was a great experience. So make the dates work for you, make the materials work for you, and let us know how we can support you. And then also just a reminder about the, and again, the hashtag is incorrect, I apologize. It's the Ed Collab chat that will be introducing the Global Kind Project 17, which will be our hashtag. And it will be Thursday, April 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll use that time to share a few more ideas with you, let you share some ideas you have, and just collaborate together as educators.
So we are, as I hope you can tell, just so excited about this project. And it's, I got to say, we're also loving, as we're reading along with the Twitter chat as well, too, that you're excited as well. So I'm going to walk us through just at the end here how to register, including some resources that you can use, a parent letter, some other letters as well. And it's all credit to these amazing people here and to Angie, who's not with us. So before I walk through registration, I just have to say again, thank you for your incredible work on this project, all of you, really. Thank you too. Yes, thank you. So here is how you can join the Global Kind Project. There we go. So when you go to globalkindproject.com, or we'll put a link to it on the front side of our main webpage as well, too, so it'll be fast to find. But if it's globalkindproject.com, it'll take you to the project's page. From the top here, there's a bunch of information you can click. There's also like fun things that flip around. But here are a few things that you may find helpful. So one is in this section down here that says spread the word. We've included a sample educator letter, dear colleagues, and a sample family letter. And both of these will allow you to, oops, I'm only seeing right now the family letter's up, so I'll make sure the family letter's up, as the same one was up twice. But the family letter, it doesn't say dear colleagues, it says dear families. And then the colleagues letter, both of those describe a bit of what the project is. For the colleagues letter, we put on purpose a bunch of goals. So what are teacher goals, what are student goals for this project? And we did that in the colleagues letter, knowing that many times your colleagues are your administrators, folks that you work with. So it's a letter that you can use to kind of say, like, here's what I'm doing, here's why I'm doing it. And then I'll put the right link up for the family letter, but the family letter then talks a bit more in depth about the students themselves. So on the web page, you can find that under Spread the Word, and there's those links. The same teacher and student goals are also towards the bottom of the website as well, right below Guide. And at the top of the page, when you click on Learning Goals, it'll take you right there as well, too. Then to register, super simple. You'll just scroll down to the registration point, or you can just click the register button. Boop, now I'm registered. And if you register, now, I mean, here's the thing. You probably don't even have to register. Like, everything you need to do it is right there. But if you do register, that will send to you a weekly reminder and some tips on pacing. We also will send you reminders of the Twitter chat that's coming up. You'll get tips from the social media advocate crew here on things that they've piloted in their classroom, because we've already begun to pilot these weeks. So you'll have some examples like you heard here today. And it also is a way that we'll connect with you if any questions or other things that you need support with as well. So it's just this very simple registration form. Then you click Submit. And then you are officially a part of the Global Kind project. And then, as we've been saying, it's as simple as using the guide or looking for the emails and then really charting your own course. Like, here's the spot where I can, oops, nope, that's not working right now. Sorry, we'll be able to open those up and you can get some more resources too. So we're going to take just a few questions here now that we're at the end, and I'll stop sharing. And so we have a few things. So one says, someone asked, can you sign up more than once if you teach multiple classes? Great question. So I'll show you this form one more time. You don't need to sign up multiple classes. What you're really signing up is you. So you're saying, yes, I want to be a part of it. And then what we are interested in on this form is we just ask, what is your grade level and approximately how many students will be involved with you. You could be a reading specialist that sees 5 kids. Make it 5. You could be a middle school teacher that sees 140 kids. You can say 140. But by letting us know your grade level spans and also letting us know the number of students that you serve, that will help us to help you connect with others. And so you only need to sign up once. You're just signing up yourself. Then another question that came in, right now, the form is only set up to click 1 grade level. We should change that because obviously some of you serve multiple grade levels. So we will change the form so it's check boxes. Any other questions that you're noticing from Twitter? Or you can also tweet to us questions right now as well too. We'll just do one final check of Twitter. So as we're looking at Twitter, if I'll just put you on the spot here for the advocates before we go, if you could give just one tip about what you think will help people make the most of the Global Kind project, what would you say? And just feel free to shout it out.
I think Twitter, connect on social media, you and your class. I would even sometimes share in quotes like what my students would say and even leave their names off of it if, for privacy reasons you can't. But I think Twitter is very powerful for so many different reasons.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be so powerful for your own students to be able to share with the global audience, and then for them to get ideas from other classrooms and for them to make those connections is just going to make it even more powerful.
I thought it was great too, just when we were doing Global Read Aloud, to do mystery Skypes with multiple different classrooms. So you're getting this perspective of all these different classrooms and not just the perspective of one different classroom. And really, this project is great because it is so flexible, like Brittany was saying, with the timeline of it and how you take on each week, and just finding that time to connect with each of those classrooms.
Awesome. So we are so excited to have you join us on this project. please mark April 20th, right? April 20th on your calendars for our kickoff chat. We'll be using the hashtag #TheEdCollab, as well as this Global Kind Project 2017's hashtag GPK17. Just as we speak here, the second we get off, we'll change that form so those of you that serve multiple grades can click on multiple grades. And if you have any other questions, you can visit us at our website, theeducatorcollaborative.com/contact, or just click on the contact form and you can write to us there. But we cannot wait for this. And I just want to say thank you to the social media advocates for all of our inspiring planning, our conversation. It just feels really great to like finally be at the day where like, here's the thing we've been making. So we're so proud to share it with all of you. So thank you all very much, and thank you to the advocates.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome work. The world so needs this now, right? And it's just a great unveil, and so excited for what's going to come out of this and what's possible. So thanks again. I am going to share with you the upcoming session 4, the different workshops that we have going on, and we hope that you join us. So we have workshop number 13, Trust the Experts, what our students have to teach us about authenticity, audience, purpose, and voice. We also have session 14, Transforming Literacy Teaching in the Era of Higher Standards. Session 15 is Family Engagement, Want Readers, Engage the Community. And then we also have Chris Lehman, where he will talk about Learning with the Educator Collaborative in 2017-18, Chart Your Professional Learning Path. So hopefully you will be able to join us in session 4, and there will be a closing at keynote at 3 o'clock.